Hinedu survived the attack at his wedding, but the man who stood up from the shattered wreckage was not the prosperous businessman who had returned to the village. He was a shell. The spiritual counterstrike had been total and immediate. Sarah fled the next morning. She had come prepared for marriage, not for spiritual warfare. She described seeing Amara's shadow in the rearview mirror on the long drive back to the city, hearing the faint, accusatory whisper of a woman she never knew. The marriage that Hinedu had sought to begin by betraying Amara was destroyed before it could even begin, fulfilling Amara's vow that if she couldn't have him, no one would. My mother, Abani, tracked Hinedu's demise through family connections over the next few years. It was a terrifying, systematic stripping away of everything he used to replace Amara: his wealth, his sanity, and eventually, his very safety. Amara's spirit wasn't a random angry ghost. It was a tireless debt collector, and the interest on the broken covenant was paid in sheer, unending horror. Every night became a nightmare. Hinedu would wake up screaming, soaked in sweat. He wasn't dreaming of monsters. He was dreaming of Amara. She would drag him back beneath the shadowy, colossal Iroko tree. She would force him to reenact the blood covenant, only this time the slate dug deeper, and the pain felt real. He would wake to find long red welts scouring his chest and a throbbing, incessant ache in his right thumb, the constant reminder of the physical oath. The curse bled into his financial life. His businesses, built on ambition and ruthlessness, began to hemorrhage money. Deals would collapse mid-signature. His largest investments turned to dust. His success, the very thing he used to justify abandoning Amara, was methodically erased. Soon, the elegant suit was replaced by rags, the expensive car repossessed. The attacks intensified. Objects would fly across the room. He'd find the air growing impossibly cold, and he would suddenly be unable to move, held fast by an invisible, malicious presence. He'd hear Amara's soft, sad voice, now layered with an ancient, vindictive resonance. "I kept the promise, Hinedu. Now you must pay the price." Sometimes the villagers said they'd see Hinedu standing alone, but his eyes would be empty, and a soft, melancholic humming, Amara's favorite tune, would issue from his throat. The last time my mother heard anything concrete about Hinedu, he had fled the city. Stripped of his wealth, his reputation, and his mental health, he returned to the village, the place he had arrogantly dismissed. He was found living in a decrepit shack near the primary school. Obsessed with the IROKO'S, he would spend hours staring at its roots, muttering apologies and pleas. One morning, the villagers found him convulsing, his body arched in agony, his fingers digging desperately at his throat as if trying to scrape something out. He was screaming one word, over and over, his voice raw and broken. "Iroko. Blood. Iroko." He wasn't fighting a person. He was fighting the covenant itself. He was taken to the community clinic, but he never recovered. The spiritual debt had been paid in full. Hinedu was left in a catatonic state, his eyes tracking invisible horrors, his soul trapped in an eternal, horrific reenactment of the vow he broke. The moral is this: Hinedu wanted the luxury of modern life, but he tried to discard the binding laws of the world he came from. He learned that some promises aren't just words. They are contracts with powers older than currency or corporations. And when you break a blood oath, you don't pay with money. You pay with your mind, your peace, and your very soul. I know that story is heavy. That's why my mother told it to me. It's not just a tale of Nigerian horror. It's a universal warning. Think carefully about the depth of your commitments. Think about what you're willing to sacrifice, because sometimes the consequences for betrayal are more than just a bad breakup. They can be eternal. If you made it through this entire story, you clearly have a taste for the truly dark and deeply rooted horror that lies beneath the surface of the world. And trust me, I have more warnings from my mother, more stories the modern world tries to forget. So here is what you need to do right now. Hit that like button if this story made your skin crawl. Leave a comment below telling me the most chilling part of Chinedu's fate. Most importantly, subscribe to my channel right now and turn on notifications.